Well, hello and welcome to today's training session. This is all about data management and how product configuration affects quotes and orders. So we're going to be thinking about really an aspect of data administration and looking at how the experience of a user is changed by the administrative choices, the customization choices that a system administrator makes. Now, it's part of a series of training that is making up this whole topic. We've got a series of lessons that are covering everything that we've looked at so far about the data upload process, all the way through to the role of consent management and data anonymization, etc. But here we're thinking about the process by which we can configure Sage CRM so that when quotes and orders are created, we're going to be in control over the different aspects. Now, we're not going to be making those changes today. So the purpose of this particular lesson is to get you to understand how the configuration affects the creation, the experience of the creation of the quotes and orders within inside Sage CRM. So the purpose, if you like, is to get you to think about, to realize, this bit is under the control of the system administrator, and this is part of a larger story over the configuration. Now, to understand how product configuration affects the quotes and orders screens, I'm going to log on here, and I'm going to log on as a sales user. You can see that I've started to put in the details of Susan May, and here I am inside Sage CRM, and I'm going to go and search for any existing quotes within inside the system. Now, all the way through in this little lesson, I will be demonstrating really with the quotes aspect, but for quotes and orders work in exactly the same way, and I'm not looking at, if you like, the overall quote management experience that's dealt with in another lesson. This is purely looking at the things that are changeable by the system administrator within the experience. And now I'm going to just go in and start the search. I need to select quote, and here you can see I've ended up on the quote search screen, the find screen. So I'm going to click find to retrieve all the quotes that this user is allowed to see according to their security profile. And you can see that this is listed out the quotes. Now I'm going to just use a trick here to zoom in on a couple of these columns. You can see that the quotes have different reference numbers. So the reference number is something that we'll be looking at, and we can also see that quotes as well have a status associated with them, whether they're active or inactive. We'll start to understand that this is configurable as well. So quotes are ordered with a different reference number according to settings, which are controlled by the system administrator. That's the pattern and the information that can be contained within inside that. And the administrator configure the area of product configurations and the whole setting up of the way in which quotes and orders are provided with alternative unique identifiers. And we can also see in which the way in which the quotes are considered to be active or inactive, the timeout period, and how quickly after a quotation has been raised it becomes ineligible and expires as a valid quote. Now I'm just going to go and zoom in and click on one of these to open up the quote summary page, and here you can see I've come into one, and if I point out a few things here, we can see that the quotation reference is mentioned quite clearly again on the screen, and we can also see that there's a price list that is being used. So the price list is going to have a reference, going to have relevance in the way in which we control the configuration of our quotes and orders. And we can see as well that there's the status, and in which case this is inactive. And we can also see when the inactive quote expired. Now we can start to look down at the items that have been added into this particular quotation. And if I create for myself a new quotation, I can do this in a number of ways. And we'll look at the process of creating a quote in a second. But well, actually, let's go on and start to do this now. So I've come up to the level of the opportunity. You can see here. So I've been navigating around in the top content area, changing the context in which I'm looking at the records. And you can see that I've come up, first of all, to the opportunity, and now I'm looking at the quotes associated with the opportunity. If I go ahead and click new, so I'm creating a new quote, I can here start to fill in some details. So I'm going to call this test quote 1, and I can associate it with a price list. Now I've chosen partner price list, and that's because I happen to know within the demo data that that's going to have a particular effect that I want to show. But it's this idea of the dependency of interrelating the idea of the quote with a particular price list to allow you to select items into the items within the quote. So you need a price list in order to be able to include products in the line items. Now, once that's there, I can choose to add a line item. And here I've just clicked to add a new line item, and I can choose whatever line item that I want to use, but I can only do it if it's listed as a product within the particular the product family is only allowed if it has a price list associated with it. So I'm using a price list that includes these product families, which I can then go down to have a look at within the, in this particular case, I'm choosing licenses, and I'm choosing a license, end user licenses, and I can choose then the unit of measure that the item is sold in. But of course, the units of measure don't have to be license packs as they are here. They could be just as well cartons or pallets or whatever measure the items are being sold in. And this is all configurable, and we can look at how that's done in the next lesson or the next series of lessons. We'll be looking specifically at the idea of building price lists and associating products with those. We can step in as well and see, once we've saved that, how the quotation is all set up. So we have that sense of the choices that the system administrator has made has influenced the experience that we have here as a user. Now that reference that it's got and its expiry date that it's got and the price list that it's got, these are all to do with the changes that that the system administrator made, and that's changed the experience that we've got, and that can influence as well any of the behavior that we also can carry out here on the right hand side of the screen as well. So this is to do with the availability of the item, and all of this is controlled by the system in the administration area. That's something that I will cover in the next lesson, but right now I'm going to start the process of looking at a merge process. So I've just clicked the merge to PDF button, and I can start to run through the generation of a merged document. and then the creation of the associated communication. And here I can quickly fill this in, and I'm just using the idea of quotation generated, and I'm going to click the save button. Now, I'm not interested here in this communication. What I'm interested in is the documents, the document that is attached. So I've just clicked over to have a look at the documents, and this is what I want to look at, because you'll notice that my system has been configured so that the generated merged document has additional information in the created document. It includes the quotation reference. So I can go back up to our quote. So I've clicked into the top content area. And here's something to think about. Now, if I was to navigate into my CRM, I would possibly still keep a lot of the context that I'm in within Sage CRM. You've possibly noticed this as you've worked with Sage CRM, that Sage CRM builds a series of variables within its URLs that tell it where it is. Now, I want to navigate away from this quote and its context of the company and the opportunity, and start the process of creating a brand new quote outside of the context of the existing opportunity and the existing company. There's a tip to give you here. If you're ever working in an area of Sage CRM, if you click the top left icon, that's going to bring you to whatever your home screen is. So if a user clicks there, the top icon there, it will clear any context. It will bring them back into their default home screen, whether that's onto the opportunity list or whatever is the screen that they've got that. Now, this stops the context of the last record, company, opportunity, etc., following the user around. Now, if I click that now, it just brings me back to my dashboard that I've configured this user to use. And what I'm going to do now is to start to create a new quote. And so if I click to create a new quote, I'm using the new menu. You know that I'm in the context of the My CRM area. And here you can see that I am clear of any context, because I've got at the top part of the screen the ability to select the company and the person for which this new quote is going to be created. Now, I'm going to set up a quote for a company like Gatecom. So I look for Gatecom, and I can then choose the person, and I choose the person that I want, David Costello. What this is going to do is that my system is configured to automatically create opportunities when I create a quotation. So it will also infer and create the new opportunity just as I create the opportunity. So this is doing a quick quote, creates the opportunity as well. So it's speeding up the whole of the quotation process. And so I'm entering in the details of this. I'm calling this test quote 2, and I'll choose next. And now I'm going to carry out, if I wanted to, any of the other work that I want. But you notice at the top of the screen, it has created not only the quote, but this quote is in the context of an opportunity. Now, I'm not going to go on and enter the different line items here, because what I wanted to prove is that we now have this quotation automatically creating an opportunity that goes with the company. And if I look and focus in on the top content, we can see all of that listed out. And this is all controlled through the products feature, the product management feature that we're going to be looking at within the administrative area. So this is all stuff that is under the control of the system administrator changing the experience of the user. So I've just returned to the summary screen for the company. If I look at the opportunities, I can see that automatically generated opportunity in my list. Now, this brings me to the close of what I wanted to talk about. We're keeping these lessons as short and sweet as we can. The next lesson, we're going to look at, if you like, that user experience of using the quotations and start to understand how the system administrator can actually make the changes which change everything from the way in which the user experience that we've seen can be changed to something else. Okay, so we'll be looking at the selection of products and price lists all within the next set of lessons. Let's see if anyone has got any questions. I'm going to say thank you, everyone. I'll see you at the next lesson. Bye-bye.